西江月夜行黄沙道中，明月别枝惊鹊，清风半夜鸣蝉。稻花香里说丰年，听取蛙声一片。七八个星天外，两三点雨山前。就是茅店社林边，路转溪桥忽见。
Hello and welcome. Today we're not just going to read a poem, we're actually going to take a journey. We're going to walk right alongside this incredible 12th century poet, Xin Qiji, on a quiet summer night and try to see the world exactly how he saw it, one beautiful line at a time. So, what's this whole poem really about? It boils down to this one really powerful idea, how a simple, quiet walk, just through a place you know well, can lead to this incredible feeling of contentment. It's all about finding that joy, not in some big dramatic event, but in the tiny living details all around us.
All right, let's get into it. The poet kicks things off by pulling us right into this summer night. He wants us to experience it with all our senses. These first 4 lines are basically an invitation to see, hear, and even smell the world he's walking through. Okay, here in this first line, the poet writes, 明月别枝惊鹊. In English, a beautiful way to think about this is a bright moon startling a magpie from its branch. Did you catch that? There's this immediate, amazing contrast. The world is supposed to be totally still, right? It's the middle of the night. But the moonlight is so bright, it actually wakes up a sleeping bird. In just 7 characters, Xin Qiji gives us this perfect little snapshot, a sudden burst of life and sound in the middle of all that quiet. And then, in the very next line, we hear this. 清风半夜鸣蝉. This translates beautifully as, a cool breeze at midnight carries the song of cicadas. This is just brilliant, because he's painting a picture with sound. First, you have that sharp, sudden flutter of the magpie. That was a surprise. But now, you get this constant, steady hum of the cicadas. And that's not a disruption, right? It's like the background music of a summer night. It's a sound that actually makes everything feel even more peaceful. Okay, so we've had sight and sound. Now let's move on to the next sense. The poet continues with 稻花香里说丰年, which we can translate as, in the scent of rice blossoms, there is talk of a bountiful year. So now we've moved from our ears and eyes to our nose. The poet breathes in this sweet smell coming from the rice paddies. And you have to understand, for someone connected to the land, that smell is everything. It's not just a nice scent, it's the smell of hope. It's the promise of a good harvest, of prosperity for the whole village. And he wraps up this first part with his absolutely wonderful line, 听取蛙声一片. Listen to the chorus of frogs filling the air. And this is where you really see his genius shine. I mean, think about it. He doesn't just hear a bunch of random croaking frogs. No, he hears all that chaotic energy as one single powerful voice, like a huge orchestra all celebrating the good harvest that he just smelled on the breeze. It's this moment of shared joy that he's feeling through nature itself. Okay, so now we get to the second part of the poem, and there's a definite shift here. This is pretty typical for this style of poetry, by the way. The focus kind of pulls back. We're moving from being totally immersed in the fields to the next stage of his walk. So he writes, 七八个星天外，两三点雨山前. We can read these 2 lines together, and they paint a picture like this. 7 or 8 stars hang in the distant sky. 2 or 3 drops of rain fall before the mountains. You can just picture it, can't you? The sky is mostly cloudy. You can only see a few stars way out there. And then he feels it, the first couple of drops of rain. And suddenly, there's this little bit of tension. Here he is, out on a country path in the dark, and it's starting to rain. So, what's he going to do? And the poem gives us the answer with this just beautiful feeling of relief and discovery. 就是茅店社林边，路转溪桥忽见. It means something like, the old thatched inn by the village shrine's woods, as the path turns by the stream bridge, it's suddenly seen. The key phrase here is 忽见, which means suddenly seen. It feels like he's been so lost in the moment, just taking in all the sounds and smells of the night, so completely content that he almost forgot where he was going. And then the path turns and bam, there it is, that familiar old inn. It's not just a building, it's this wonderful feeling of relief, of a happy little surprise, like finding something cozy and familiar. All right, let's zoom out for a second and see how all these pieces fit together. Because this was never just a poem about a walk, was it? It's really about the state of mind of the guy taking that walk. And to really get the depth here, you kind of have to know a little about Xin Qiji himself. This guy was a brilliant general, a fierce patriot. His whole life's mission was to reclaim northern China from invaders. But because of messy court politics, he got pushed aside, forced into this quiet retirement out in the countryside. And this poem, this is his response to all that frustration. He made a choice. He decided to find his peace not in the halls of power, but right here, on a simple country road at night. There's actually a perfect Chinese word for the feeling he captures here.
恬静.
And it doesn't just mean silence or emptiness. It's this deep, peaceful contentment that comes from being surrounded by the gentle, living pulse of the natural world. You know, the birds, the cicadas, the frogs, the smell of the crops. And really, that's the true destination of his journey. The inn he finds at the end, that's just a place to get out of the rain. The real refuge, the real shelter he found was this perfect moment of peace. Just by paying close attention to the simplest things around him, he discovered this incredible sense of joy and belonging, something his political career just couldn't give him anymore. So, as we leave our poet there at the door of the inn, maybe it's a good time to ask ourselves a question. In our own crazy, busy, modern lives, where can we find our own yellow sand road? When was the last time a simple walk, a quiet moment where you just paid attention, brought you that same kind of unexpected, simple, and tranquil joy?